Hey guys, welcome to another video. Alongside making the YouTube videos for this channel, which I love, another one of my interests is photography. And just about a year ago, I decided to buy my first ever camera. And throughout the course of this last year, I've been learning about photography, reading about photography, and practicing it going out. And as a beginner and amateur photographer, I've learned a lot about loads of different types of shooting, which I want to share with you guys. So if any of you guys are a beginner or amateur photographer, you can hopefully learn from these videos and shoot awesome pictures yourself. So for this video in particular, I really want to focus on nighttime and low light shooting, something which I had no idea about when starting out with photography a year ago. So I want to, in this video, give you guys some top tips, some hints, and some examples of some pictures I've taken, and the good things, the good pictures I've taken, and some of the bad pictures I've taken. So hopefully this video will be useful to you guys. If you want to see more videos like this, tutorials, photography, please let me know in the comments below, and subscribe again if you're new. First things first, you're going to need a camera. And one of the common misconceptions about starting out in photography is that to shoot any good pictures, you're going to need a fantastic camera that's going to cost you £1,000, a great lens that's going to cost you another £1,000. And that is just not the case. What I found over the last year and what I'm still learning is that it is much about your creativity as it is about the size of your wallet, how big your lens is. So with that in mind, the camera that I shoot with, that I record these vlogs with, and that I shoot my photography with, is a Sony a6300. Sony's have been known to be amazing in low light, and this camera is no exception. However, all your major brands, your Canons, your Nikons, will also do an absolutely fabulous, stellar job both in nighttime photography and daytime photography. So do check out all of the cameras, at your local Jessup store or something like that before you decide to buy one. Alongside your camera, you're also going to need a lens. Often the kit lenses included are really good versatile lenses, but if you want to do a specific type of photography, it's worth investing the money in a good lens, because they often do hold their value and you will really see the difference in the pictures that you take. The lens that I used, and the lens that I use mainly for nighttime shooting, is this one right here. It's a Sony 35mm f1.8. It's really a portrait lens, but I've really found that it works really good outside at night, and you get some really crisp photos, which I want to kind of take you guys through later on in this video. But all of your major providers, Canon, Sigma, all those guys will provide great lenses that are specific for nighttime shooting. So there's a couple of things that I want to let you guys know about settings and all that kind of good stuff regarding nighttime shooting. So my first top tip is to shoot with a lens with as widest aperture as you can afford and you can get your hands on. The reason being that with a wide aperture lens, it allows a lot of light into the camera, which will help your images look clearer and sharper at nighttime. One thing I would avoid regarding aperture lenses though is when you're using the lens to not go down to the widest aperture available, because this often adds some blur around the outside of the image, which kind of makes it lose a bit of quality. The second top tip is around reducing your ISO as much. The higher ISO you go, the more noise there is around the image, so you want to reduce this as much as you can. And the third one, and the most important one I think, is don't be afraid to take it off automatic. As a beginner or amateur photographer, I personally found it daunting to take the camera off automatic and mess around with the shutter speed, the aperture, but actually most of the cameras, even the really, really good ones, often struggle in low light to find the right settings to get you the photo that you want. So don't be afraid to put it in manual, play around with the settings and see what works and what doesn't work for you. So enough talking about night photos, let me show you some of the photos that I've taken. So this first photo you're looking at was taken at the Lumiere Festival, which occurred across London just this week gone. So I decided to take my camera out and take some shots that night, and it was really great to see loads of photographers out in London taking pictures and catching up with a few of them, which was awesome. So this is actually one of the photos that I really like, and there's a couple of reasons why I really like this. The first one being the amount of light in this photo for a photo taken at about 9 p.m. So I decided to take this photo underneath a street light, which gave a crazy amount of light to a actually very dark place, which really kind of highlighted and accented the colours that were surrounding the birdcage. The other reason that I really like this photo is that it really uses what photographers call the law of thirds. So when composing your picture, thinking about your frame in thirds, and everyone was focusing on the birdcage, and it was the main centre of attention in this area. So I thought, let me put this in the middle third of my shot, and that is exactly what I decided to do. So this is a picture I really like. The colours go really nicely off the trees on the side, make them look like a different colour. And this is completely just from the camera. This is totally unedited. And this is one of my night shots that I really like. So this next photo is one that I don't like as much, and there's a couple of reasons why I don't like it. The first being the composition's just a bit meh, it's a bit average. You see the office lights behind, you see the person's phone in frame, and the composition just doesn't really match up. You know, the focus really should be the lasers and then the people who are all silhouetted because of the light behind them. And I think in hindsight, if I took this shot again, I definitely try and get on a bit higher ground to be at level with the lasers, to make it seem like the lasers are actually coming into you as the viewer of the photo. One of the other things that I really wish, if I went back to this photo, I'd like to do again, is reduce the ISO. And the reason I'd reduce the ISO is because what that will allow is the silhouettes of the people to appear more apparent. Now, this will make the photo stand out so much more, and the contrast between the lasers and the silhouettes, I think, would have been a great photo. However, it's not all lost. One of the most important things that I discovered through my year of photography is the use of Lightroom, and spending time playing around with it yourself, as well as watching some of the videos that there are millions of on YouTube about how to use Lightroom and how to get it best working for you so that you can create the best shots that will pop in both your portfolio and on Instagram. I'll leave a link down below to a photographer that I follow on YouTube, Peter McKinnon. He's huge, and he posted some absolutely fantastic Lightroom tutorials and general photography tutorials that I think some of you guys might find really useful in terms of helping you improve and get your photography better. So Lightroom can really be your friend, and I highly, highly recommend spending some time either learning yourself or learning from others around how to use Lightroom. So there we have it, guys, the end of the first photography tutorial around low light shooting. So I urge you guys to go out one evening, take your camera out. Doesn't matter if you haven't got the best camera or the camera you want or the lens you want. Go out there, take some shots, see how they come up, see what works, see what doesn't work for you. Figure out what your style of photography is, what type of shots is it that you want to create, and go out there and take those shots.